I drive for a rideshare app at night, mostly because the late hours mean better pay and fewer traffic jams. But with that comes the strange ones, the ones who make you question why you ever thought this gig was a good idea. This happened about 6 months ago, and I still haven't driven since. It was around 2:30 a.m. when I got the ping. Pick up in a neighborhood on the outskirts of town, a place with old houses that seemed half abandoned. I almost ignored it, but the surge pricing was too good. Easy money, I thought. When I arrived, the house was completely dark. No porch light, no cars in the driveway, and the lawn was overgrown. I checked the app twice to make sure I was in the right spot. Just as I was about to cancel, I saw movement. A tall man in a dark coat stepped out from between the trees, not from the house, but the woods behind it. He didn't wave, didn't smile, just opened my back door and slid in. "Evening," I said, trying to sound casual. He didn't respond. He just leaned forward, resting his long hands on the seat in front of him. His skin looked pale in my rearview mirror, like he hadn't seen the sun in years. His eyes, it's hard to describe them. They were too wide, too unblinking. "Where we headed?" I asked. He didn't answer right away, just kept staring at me in the mirror. Then finally he whispered, "Downtown." That was vague, but the app showed a drop-off near an old high-rise that had been under renovation for years. Whatever. I started driving. The car was dead silent, except for the occasional creak of the leather as he shifted in his seat. I tried making small talk, weather, sports, whatever, but he never answered. He just watched me. At one point, I glanced back, and I swear he was closer than before, like he had leaned forward without making a sound. His face was inches from the glass divider. I kept between myself and passengers. "You do this every night?" he finally asked. His voice was flat, almost childlike. "Yeah," I said, "pays the bills." He smiled then, but it wasn't a normal smile. It stretched too wide, like his face wasn't built for it. The drive was only about 15 minutes, but it felt like an hour. When we reached the building, I pulled over. It was deserted. No workers, no lights, just a shell of concrete and scaffolding. "Here we are," I said, pretending not to notice how wrong it felt. He didn't move, just stared out the window. Then he asked softly, "Will you wait for me?" "No," I said quickly. "I've got other rides." He chuckled under his breath, then leaned closer to the divider. "You will." Before I could respond, he opened the door and stepped out. He didn't head for the building's entrance. Instead, he walked around the corner, disappearing into the shadows. I sat there gripping the wheel, telling myself to drive off. But for some reason, I didn't. My hands wouldn't move. It felt like if I left, something worse would happen. After about 5 minutes, I heard it. The sound of footsteps, but not just his. Multiple sets, echoing off the empty street. I looked in the mirror, and my stomach dropped. He wasn't alone anymore. 3 figures followed him out from behind the building, all tall, all wearing dark coats. Their faces looked wrong, stretched and pale like wax masks. They moved in perfect unison, their steps too quiet for their size. The man pointed at my car. Every instinct screamed at me to go, so I slammed the gas. The tires squealed, and I tore down the street. But as I glanced in the rearview mirror, I froze. They were running after me. Not just running, gliding, their legs moving, but their bodies unnaturally still. And they were fast, faster than my car should have allowed. I blew through a red light, heart pounding, and didn't stop until I hit the highway. When I finally pulled into a gas station miles away, my hands were shaking so hard I could barely turn off the ignition. I checked the back seat. Empty, thank God. But when I looked at the rideshare app, the trip was still active. The timer kept running, like the ride hadn't ended. The drop-off location kept changing too, bouncing to random addresses across the city. Then, finally, it stopped, back at the house where I'd picked him up. And then, the worst part, the app glitched, and my profile picture changed. It wasn't my face anymore, it was his. I deleted the app that night, cancelled my account, and sold my car a week later. I take the bus now, and I never drive after dark. Sometimes though, when I pass that abandoned building, I see figures near the scaffolding, just standing there, watching the road, and I know if I ever stop, they'll be waiting to get in again.